Hello everyone and welcome to Augmintech's YouTube channel. So today I am going to show you how you can hatch your plans in SketchUp. Now that is something that you might think, yeah, do I want to do it in layout? Do I want to do it in SketchUp? In my last video, I also showed you how you can add hatches in layout, but today we are going to talk about how you can add hatches within your SketchUp model. So this is a model which I downloaded from 3ds warehouse. So here you can download the same from there. This is called SD70. So you can find the exact same model if you want to try it out. Now we are going to go to the top view of this model, which I think it's already set up here. Yeah, so the scene 3 is already set up. Here you can see that we have so many elements which are already put together. Let's say there are options for your flooring. So they have added, a kind of a texture here, the texture on the walls. So there are so many options here to create textures. So first of all, what we can go for is you go to your paint bucket tool, and here if you select materials, you go to patterns, and there are so many options for patterns that you can choose from. So if you want to add any kind of a pattern for, let's say, a wall hatch, or you want to add for the flooring, or you want to add a solid color, that you can do with this. So let's try it out once. So this is the part that I'm selecting, the border, and I want it to be like a brick common element. So let's try that. So now, since this is a very small one, I'm going to increase the size. I'm going to make it twice as it is. So now we can see how this looks. Even if you want to make it bigger, you can do that. So this is how it looks for me. Now all the walls I want to do the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the same element, and I'm going to paint all the wall parts in this. Okay, so I'm adding all the wall segments like this. So you can keep adding wherever you need. So this is where I'm adding this. Now for these window elements, I do not want it to be like this. I want it to be a different kind of pattern, or you can also use your texture for a color that you want to use. So I'm just going to use a color which is more towards how windows are supposed to look. So let's add that. So I'm adding this color right here. Now since this is something which is easier, you have to set the top view here like this, which you can do simply by using your using your tool, which is your section cut, which I've also explained in my previous video. So if you haven't been following, you can go to the previous videos and see how to get to this point where you can add all of these hatches. So that is something which is important for you. You can check it out. So this is how you can add elements. Now another interesting thing that we can do is, like, here I have a texture or a pattern which is filled. I can now choose any other pattern. You can choose any other element related to wood, or let's say tile. So here I want to add some kind of a tile. I can do that. So if I'm adding this again, I can change the sizing of this. So I can make it 200 mm. So it is giving me the exact the tile that I want. So if you have a very specific kind of a tile that you want to portray or something like that, you can use this. Then maybe for your so here we have a wood texture going on the flooring, and maybe I do not want to put a wood texture here. I want to add a tile here. So what I can do is I can go to patterns again, and here I can choose a pattern which is more like a tile texture. So let's try this. So it's a rectangle stacked, or this is like a rigid installation. Let me just try that out. So we'll make this into 500. Okay, 500 is too big. Let's do 100, or maybe 300. Yeah, so that looks even better for me. Now this here, you can see, like, this is how the texture is looking now. So we can create the textures as per your choice, and then you can take it to layout and use it to create a PDF, and you can use this file as a concept drawing. Now here the best part is that you did not have to draw everything again and again. All you need to do is you need to add all the kinds of textures that you need. Now there is one more tool that I wanted to talk about, is architectures. So this is a website which is called architectures.org. Here you can find many free materials. Now if you have some kind of a specific requirement, you want to put like, a Calcutta stone, or you want to put aluminium, travertine, so all of these elements are already given here. And the best part about this is, let's say I select this element, I can go edit this, and I can edit it according to what I need, which is what is going to create the perfect texture for me for my flooring. So let's say for this flooring, I want to use this texture. So here you can see the different elements. So I'm getting a texture, I'm getting a stack. So this is the part that I'm getting. If you want to change the width and height of it, you can do it. So this is 100 mm right now. I want to make it 200 mm by 200 mm. So it's a, I want it to be a square only, so it's a square, but 200. Then if you want to add, number of rows and columns, if you want to change that, maybe you just want to use, one row and one column, you can do that as well. So that will create a different sort of a material for you. So we just have this style, so you can choose from it. So let's just keep it at 3 and 3 because I think that looks much better. Then if you want to add a pattern separately, if you want to make a different kind of a pattern, you can choose that as well here, which is great. So you have so many options within just one pattern. Then if you want to, now the joints that you see here, if you want to make them darker, here they're using this fine mortar. If you want to make it, darker, you can choose to do that. Now see, this is darker and looks even better. So if you want to make the joint even bigger, you can do that. So it is going to add more depth into your element. I think 3 mm is fine. 3 mm is what you actually use. Then if you want to change the joints and all of this, you can do that with the help of this. So if you don't want to add a concrete joint and recessed joints, you can choose. So while I'm saving all of this, you can now download the texture. Now you can only download the texture here if if you are just, you can download it at very different elements, but here since we have not bought the pro account, so I'm just going to download a basic element. So I've gotten it here. Now I'll go back to my SketchUp and I'll go to my paint bucket tool. Here I'm going to take a default material, create a new material. So I'm going to call it tile, or you can call it tile 1. Then I'm using the texture image that I've just downloaded, which is this one. So I've downloaded this, given it the same size that it was. I'm going to say okay. Then I'm going to go inside my material. So here I want to add this tile. So I can see that it's not visible properly. So let's just make it bigger. I'm going to make it 300, or let's 600. Much better, but I think it should be bigger. So I'll do 1200. Yeah, now it feels like a tile. So you see, just with the hatch that you are adding, you can create such a realistic kind of an image. So if you are somebody who is into, you're working for a contractor, you're working for a builder, and you're creating these drawings for them, it becomes so much easier. So all of these things that I used to do this with the help of Photoshop, but now I can create as many textures here, and I can create a perfect looking plan within my SketchUp only. And the best thing about this is you still have your model, and this is here. So if it's not going to change anything as the complete model. But if you see the scene 13, it has your scene 3, it has all the textures that you need. So you do not have to actually get inside the model. So if I have to change the texture here, I'll have to go inside and then change it. So it's not just about creating hatches, it is also about how you present your drawing. So this, now I'm going to take this to layout. So let's just take it to layout. I have saved the changes and I'm taking it to layout. So here you can choose the sheet. So like we did in the last video, I insist you to check out the the other videos as well. So if you're looking at this one, those ones are also something that you'll like. So here I'm going to take the title block, and now if we look at the scene that I have chosen and you put it on a sheet of paper, you can see how perfect that looks. So all the textures that we have added, they have this kind of a depth. So they are not just plain textures, we have added so many layers to it. So here you can work it out. Now the second way of adding hatches, which I said, was using the shape styles in fill. So here on the layout, you can click on a rectangle tool. So let's say this is a rectangle, and you can create a rectangle like this, put a pattern in it, and you can choose the pattern you want. So I'm just going to choose this pattern. We can make it like 40. Okay, it's not visible. Let's make it smaller. Or let's just try, okay, once more. So you have to choose the pattern here and then you need to try it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use fill. So let's use fill so that it's easier to see. You can see the fill now, but we have also added the pattern. So you have to uncheck that if you do not want the pattern and you just want the fill, and you will have to redo this. So here it is possible for you to add different elements, but here you will have to manually redraw everything. But the best thing about doing this in layout is that now if I go back to my SketchUp model, nothing will have changed. So the part where you can see that if I go to my SketchUp model, since I changed everything, here, it is also going to change in the scene. So if I go to scene 7 here and I look at the interior, you can see the tile here has changed. So since you changed the scene 3, it has changed all the other scenes, like the textures have changed. But if you do not want to do that, if you want to add things manually, you can use the option of adding hatches in your layout. And here what you can do is the textures that you have put, you can manage that with the help of SketchUp only. And just the wall hatches or elements which are architectural that you want to add, you can choose different colors and you can add that here on layout, which makes it a separate file, so it is not going to affect whatever you have done on your SketchUp model. And this is just going to be for your visual representation. So if you have added different, let's say these partitions that I'm adding different colors, so I can do that here. And but on my SketchUp model, nothing will change. So here are two ways wherein you can add hatches. Both of those work separately, so you can see whichever works for you, whichever suits you, and you think like this is something that I want to do, you can opt for it. Stay tuned and keep watching us here on this channel for more such videos. I'm here to share you more and more useful tips. So subscribe today. Thank you so much.